Organization with School Committee. So I'd like to open up the meeting for Monday, August 25th, 2025. Do I hear any motion for a chair?
Dr. Musk, I nominate Michelle Kirkby as chair, if she accepts.
Second?
Second.
Any other nominations for chair? Hearing none, we'll go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam Chair.
You didn't oppose?
All right, continuing in that round, do I hear a nomination for vice chair?
I nominate Diana Fischel for vice chair.
Second.
All in favor, or sorry, do I hear any other nominations? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Yes.
Oh, I got a second.
You get a second?
Yes.
I second.
Okay, do I hear a nomination for recording secretary? Leo?
I nominate Leo Brem for that position.
Do I hear a second?
I second that, yeah.
Do I hear any other nominations? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 In my defense, I wasn't here at this meeting last year, so I've never done this before.
We nominated you and you
Do
were
I hear
here.
a nomination for
Yeah,
financial
Monday.
secretary?
I nominate Will Horn.
No, yeah. It's
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, do I hear any other nominations?
I nominate Sophia.
Do I hear a second?
second.
Okay, all in favor for, Sophia's the one that got second, so all in favor for Sophia?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Very good.
Great. Okay. Thank you, everybody. All right. Welcome to August 25th, 2025 school committee meeting. This is our first meeting for this academic school year. I'd like to call the meeting to order with a roll call of school committee members. Michelle Kirkby present.
Diana Frischella here.
Leo Brem here.
Will Lauren here.
Sophia Biglos here.
Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to open public comment. Members of the public are welcome to comment during the public input, either here or through Zoom. If you're on Zoom, please raise your Zoom hand. We ask you keep your camera on when making a Zoom comment and that you follow school committee policy for public input, including speaking for no more than 3 minutes and only on topics under the purview of the school committee. And whether you're here in person or on Zoom, please state your name and record for the address. Any public comment? Anyone online?
No one's raising their hand.
Okay. In that space, then, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Dr. Marsden, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Sure. We have several minutes, two from regular meeting and one from the workshop. The workshop is pretty lengthy, so hopefully you got a chance to take a look at that. The second item is a superintendent appointment to the Tech Collaborative and Accept Board. Board directors, those are what you do that each year. Those are two collaboratives that I sit on the board for. As I said before, collaboratives, they provide us special education services, transportation, bulk buying if we need to, purchasing and that kind of thing. So obviously, we've been members of the collaboratives for a long time, so that's pretty much what we've done in the past few years. Medfield High School Student Activity Account, a transfer between categories of remaining funds from the class of 2025 to class of 2026. This was brought forward as a gift to use if kids have any financial issues going forward. The class of 25 wanted to give that to the class of 26, which is great. And then the Business Honor Society, this is a new group that's starting. We've had so much success with our business courses and with DECA that students have come to Robert and asked to do a Business Honor Society. And I know in the materials there was the criteria, et cetera, why they want to do it and what they're going to do. So they want to establish a new subcategory in the activity account so they can collect money and then have that as one of their clubs. I do want to just highlight the donations as well. We have a hefty donation from Medfield Youth Baseball and Softball, $45,000 to be deposited in the district gift account for the Schilling Field Turf Restoration Project. So earlier in the spring, Michael and I met with John Dunn, who is the head baseball coach at Medfield High School, talked about the turf and the need to replace that. He had met with Medfield Youth Baseball and Softball, talked to them about trying to raise some money toward that. So they did that fairly quickly, I would say in a few weeks. and did a GoFundMe to do that, so they want to deposit that in the gift account. Rob Quinn also got additional funding for this from the town. I think is it 60,000, Michael? 50,000, and then we put money away in our revolving account as well, so we're hoping to get this project done sooner rather than later. But this is certainly helps. The 45,000 will probably get us to where we need to go. So that was one big thanks to Medfield Youth Baseball and Softball. The class of 23 also has a donation earmarked for financial assistance for kids in the gift account. Here's EC. $200 from the Garbage family to be deposited in the high school gift account, $1,000 from Mr. Raymond Sherlacken to be deposited in the Dale Street gift account in honor of his wife, Darla, who was a former librarian at Dale Street School. He's done that I think he's done it every year since he passed away, so it's just really nice that Raymond does that. $500 from the Dale Street PTO to be deposited into the gift account, $1,013.93 to Memorial PTO to be deposited in the Memorial gift account for the Everything Belong grants. And we have a percussion instrument that was donated by Meredith Chamberlain to the Dale Street School. Her child no longer needs the instrument, and she donated to make sure someone that would need it had an instrument to play. So we thank her for that as well. That's all I have for the consent agenda.
Any comments or questions on anything from the consent agenda? I think my only question was in regards to the baseball, softball donation. Understanding that the goal is to get this done sooner rather than later, what's the proposed timeline right now?
Well, we would like to have it done this fall. I mean, that's the goal right now because we have money in the revolving account and the money from the town and now this. So it was put out to bid. When was that put out to bid, Michael?
They're opening this week.
Okay, they're opening the bids this week, so we'll get a better sense if we can actually afford it or not in the fall. But, you know, we've put thousands and thousands of dollars into that field as repairs, and it's just, we can't repair it anymore. It's just not safe for the kids. We want to make sure that, you know, we have a new field for them. It's just going to be that whole infield area, it won't be the outfield again. It's really cost prohibitive to put a turf outfield. We'd like to do the turf outfield as a phase 2, because then the fall sports could use that. We could use it for field hockey, we could use it for freshman football and that kind of thing. But right now, it's just cost prohibitive to put the outfield in there. So we're gonna keep that as grass and then put the turf in the infield and that whole area around the bullpen, the benches as well, so.
Okay, so we're out to bid right now, and if they come in at a price that works,
We're
looking at
Yeah.
doing
This fall.
Okay, okay. It's helpful info.
Mhm.
So after the spring season?
No, right now.
Oh, doing it this fall now?
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, get it done so that's ready for next baseball season.
All right, anything else? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as read?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Moving on to new business, Dr. Marsden, I'll turn it over to you for the staffing update.
Sure. In your materials, and we typically do this, you know, every first meeting of the school year, we put the Unit A staffing, the Unit B staffing reports in there, so the changes that we have. You notice a lot of maternity leaves like we typically have in Medfield. We got a few of those going on. But we do have some openings in Unit B, so we do have a couple of teacher assistant openings that we're still working on right up to the bell here. We had some folks that were teacher assistants and resigned, you know, the last couple of weeks to take teaching positions out of the district, so which is very typical for us in most districts, but really happy with the group of teachers and teacher assistants that we have. We had a great orientation 2 days last week on Wednesday and Thursday. People really excited. People were excited today as our kickoff day, so I'm happy to answer any questions or clarifications, but it's pretty straightforward as far as the report this year.
Did you have any challenges or surprises with staffing?
I would say probably the biggest surprise we had, which has never really happened to us, is we offer a position to someone and they get offered a position for somewhere else, and they kind of go back and forth and kind of see what they can get, and then they decide which one to go. So we got a lot of those, but some of them went to other districts and not us, which we've never had before. I would say the central office position was challenging, but we found a great person for that. We opened that up 3 different times. We couldn't find the right person, and then we finally did. So, yeah, it's an interesting market out there. It really is. You know, I think we typically never have a difficult time hiring teachers. We get a lot of teachers that apply to our positions, they want to be here, but the market's pretty competitive right now because the number is so small. I mean, we always struggle with things like physics and Mandarin Chinese, like those are really hard positions to get. But elementary, when I first got here, we'd get 300 or 400 applications for an elementary job. We probably get 100 to 200 right now. So it's definitely a different pool that we're working with.
Okay. Anything else on staffing? Okay. We'll move on to handbook. So Dr. Marsden, I'll hand that back over to you again.
Sure. So in your materials, you have the handbooks that were given to you, but also the 1 or 2 pages that highlight the changes in each school. I won't go through all of them, but I'm happy to answer any questions. I will say that one of the changes that was put in there, and you'll see it in every single one of them, was the paragraph consistent with Massachusetts Regulations 603 CMR 26.05. The Medfield Public Schools, through its curriculum materials, encourages respect for the human and civil rights of all individuals, regardless of race, color, sex, gender, identity, religion, national origin, or sexual orientation. In accordance with district guidelines, families may request information from the building principal on available accommodations related to curriculum content. So that's in response to, first of all, our attorneys sent this to us, MASS attorneys sent this to us. All the school attorneys got together over the summer and tried to craft some language that made sense to put in handbooks. And it's all related to the Malouf case with the Supreme Court that challenged parents' rights to have their child participate in certain curricula. So on the basis of religion and that kind of thing. So in order to protect the district and I think all districts in the state, this was given to us as a recommendation to put in our handbook. So all of our handbooks have that line. I just want to highlight that because that's probably other than the time changes and Parent Square, that's probably the most substantive change in all the handbooks that you see. But happy to answer any questions as you go through it. If there's anything that you see that, I will say that Blake did change their language too around mobile phones, cell phones, smartwatches, all that, made that a little more strict, so that was good. We had talked about that at previous meetings. So we definitely bumped that up a little bit, but everything else is, in terms of the changes, were around the school start time and end times and half-days and those kinds of things. So I'd ask that you approve the handbooks so they can be distributed to students on Wednesday.
While I was reading through the high school ones, I found one spot a little confusing.
Okay.
And I was just gonna point it out because I find a lot of things confusing, so it may not be confusing to others. Well, one of them was in that area around the attendance procedures, around, there's a bullet that says awaiting new procedures for Parent Square attendance notification.
Okay, so what we're having, part of Parent Square sends out an automatic call to parents. So what we do right now with Aspen is they get a list, and then staff will call the parents if they're out. Parent Square has the ability to do it automatically. So what we're trying to do is, we want to be able to check that before it goes out, before the automatic call goes out, because we want to make sure that, like, for instance, if someone's in the hospital, we know they're not going to be there, right? Or if someone is out of school for something that we know about, we don't want them to be called, because the parent says, what do you call me? You know I'm out, right? So it's more for kids that should be there that aren't there, and we didn't get a call beforehand. So we're just trying to work with Parent Square to make sure that we can check that list before that automated call goes out. So that's all that means.
Gotcha, okay, 'cause I just found that, I think maybe if we put that note that you just said.
Yeah.
I don't know, or just eliminate that and say, an automated call may happen.
Yeah, okay.
Automated or human, I don't know, I was just like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't, I don't know. And the only other question I had was around unexcused absences. Would 5, it does say 5 unexcused absences, you'll get a call, right? That's not, adding the Parent Squares, 5 unexcused absences. They're allowed to 6. Does that include 5 unexcused absences in a class, or just 5 unexcused absences for the day?
That's the day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not that I'm expecting my high school student to count it.
So tardy and leaving early don't count.
For a day absence, though.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right, okay. Those are my other questions.
Anything else? Okay. like to make a motion to approve 2025-2026 student handbook with the updates that have been included in our packet.
Could I ask one more
Go
question?
for it, yeah.
I'm totally sorry.
No, you're fine.
And then the first one around general information around extra help. I noticed that it was eliminated was, as well as some after school, some Tuesdays. Was that something that was part of the CBA around Tuesdays? Because I didn't see anything in the CBA.
That is around the start time change and where the teachers come in earlier in the morning versus stay later in the afternoon.
Okay.
So something had to give there, and that's what we came up with is the afternoon stuff is hopefully going to happen before school, but teachers have the option to stay if they want to. But they're not
So
required to
Tuesdays
anymore.
was a day?
They were required to then, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It was a
Actually,
day.
I didn't see it in the CBA when I went looking for that.
It was
so I-
kind of past practice, kind of what they've always done.
okay.
They established at the school level.
Okay, that's the only thing I was curious about. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay. Anything else? All right, round two. I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2025-2026 student handbook with the updates that are included in our packet.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, the motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. So for, this is my notes. So for the Wayfinder SEL, we discussed earlier today about that agenda item being tabled and moved to our September meeting.
Correct.
So, done for that one for today. Michael or Dr. Marsden can speak on the fund transfer request.
Michael, you want to go ahead? Thank you.
Okay. So in your packet, you got the memo that I drafted. We are looking to transfer $95,000 out of salary line item and into a contracted service line item. For the last 6 months, we've been trying to fill custodian positions, and we've had a difficult time filling those positions. We have 3 positions currently opened. We did a small pilot this past summer with an outside company just to make sure that the buildings were ready. We were very busy with cleaning this summer, and we had a lot of other projects that we were dealing with. So the company came in, but they did a nice job, and we went out, we solicited 3 quotes to see which, through the state bid list. We received 2 quotes back. One company did not, submit a quote. We selected the lowest quote, and we're here now because we want to do a pilot for the rest of the school year at the Memorial School. So what we're doing is we transferred 2 custodians from Memorial, because Memorial is our smallest building, to the high school. That's where the openings were. And that allowed us, we're still 1 short custodian, but we can manage that. That allowed us to put the cleaning service at the Memorial School. And we're going to pilot that for the year and see how it goes. And then we'll make a decision at that point. So right now, the current contract that we'll be going into is a monthly fee of $8,295. That includes labor, supplies, and products. The total annual contract is about $107,000 for the year. If you subtract out the cost for supplies and products, all we need to transfer is about $95,000 out of the Memorial School custodial salary line and into the custodial contract service line. All that being said, we are looking at an estimated savings in both the custodial line item and the supply line item of about $20,000 for the year. So our request is that you have to approve those line item transfers because it comes under the jurisdiction of the school committee. Any questions? Yes.
Will it be consistent staff, or is it just, does it change daily?
S-
What's
s-
on the
So it is consistent staff. Though they have already been quarried through our system and fingerprinted through our system. There are currently going to be 3 custodians working the night shift, but we did quarry 5, so we have 2 substitutes just in case one of the current custodians that's going to be in that building is going to be ill. We already have quarried the substitutes that will be taking their place.
It's the night shift too, it's not during the school day.
Yes, right, it's the night shift. So their shift, I believe, will start at a little bit earlier than the current custodians at 5 o'clock.
We traditionally have 3 full-time folks at night.
We usually have 2. But because the type of clean that we want to do is, and what we contracted with, is that they can get the building, done within, instead of an 8-hour day, it's going to be a 6-hour day. So we added that extra custodian.
This doesn't impact, like, availability of hours for after-school activities or anything like that?
It does not. So, we have coverage in that building for any type of after-school activity.
So when you're running this as a pilot, you're saying that if this goes well, you would look at moving this to all 5 schools, or you would roll it out to just some additional schools? Like, what would be the next step if this goes well?
So the next step was just at Memorial School. But we're not here to decrease our custodial staff. It's just we're having a difficult time hiring, If it works for that school, which is our smallest school, we just feel that we move forward with that contract, and then, we go from there in the future.
So we're piloting at Memorial, and if it goes well, we would stay with this. We're
Correct.
not looking to expand this in other
We're
schools.
not looking to expand it, no.
Anything else? Okay. Is there anybody online that would want, I forgot to ask for the other votes.
No one has,
Raise a hand or anything?
no one has raised their hand
Okay.
yet.
Okay. So we need a motion here to approve the request.
The line item change?
Correct. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the line item change as included in our packet.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, it passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
sorry.
Oh.
It wasn't a hand raise, it was a question. So let me read it. Or does,
Sure. Is there name and address?
oh, she said it was from Chris McHugh Potts, but Michael answered
Okay.
it. And I
Okay.
apologize, I was looking for hands, but now I'll look for the Q&A too.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Next item is the DESI review results. So Dr. Marsden and Mary.
Mary, you ready? So last school year, we had a couple of audit reviews from DESI as they come in periodically in the school districts. Mary did a phenomenal job coordinating that, and, they met with administrators, teachers, parents. They were just, they're very thorough, and Mary was the chair of all that, so I appreciate the work that she did last year, and we got the results at the end of last year, so she wanted to start the year off on a positive note with some good news with some of the reviews that DESI had.
Sorry, I'm doing the dance of Zoom and up here as well. So, hold on. Okay. Excellent. All right. So thank you, Dr. Marsden. Yes. So last year was the year of reviews. It was DESI was reviewing the district in a variety of different areas, starting in the summer of 2024 all the way through until June of 2025. So last year we went under review for special education, civil rights, ELE, ESSA federal grant program, and indicators 11, 12, and 13, which probably don't make a lot of sense to you, so I will go into a little bit more detail. So one of the bigger review processes is the integrated monitoring review. This has been known by DESE in a variety of different names. It was coordinated program review, it was tiered focused monitoring, now it is integrated monitoring review, or IMR. It is all kind of looking at the same thing, but they try to look at the way that they're doing it and collaborating and making sure that they are providing more timely support to districts for anything that is found. So previously, the self-assessment piece would be done almost the school year before, and then they would not come out until the year after. It's been found that that was too long of a time in between when we submitted evidence to when they were actually on site. So now everything is condensed into a little bit faster of a process. Group A and B standards, so they break it down so that you are not getting seen by every standard every 3 years, but they break it into half for Group A and half for Group B. So previously, it used to be every 6 years you were evaluated. Now it's every 3 years, but only half of the evaluation. So this year, we were evaluated on the Group A universal standards, which look at student identification, IEP development, programming and support services, and equal opportunity. There's 2 main phases to this. So they first look at the discovery phase, which is where they review all data, and they go on and try to find educational results and functional outcomes from their own data that is submitted each year, as well as any ready data that is available from the district. And then we upload certain pieces of data collection that they review as well. And then there's the engagement piece. And this is where they're trying to make sure that all of the information that we're providing and that kind of engagement piece does not have a large time frame in between. So that involves interviews. So they interviewed myself as well as the CPAC chairs, a review of additional documentations. They also survey every parent and guardian of anyone that is supported by an IEP in the district. And then they do an on-site file review. So that's kind of the biggest piece of what they do, is that they look through kind of all of that information to see. These are there's so many standards, and I'm not going to address every single one of them because there's more slides of this, but this kind of gives you an understanding of what they were looking at this year. So they look through all of these different standards, and then it continues on the next slide as well as the civil rights evaluation or standards. This one is much heavier on special education focus and lighter on the civil rights, and then the Group B has less emphasis on special education and more on civil rights. So for civil rights this time, it was availability of information, academic counseling on general, curricular, and occupational and vocational opportunities, counseling and counseling materials being free from bias and stereotypes, and then responsibilities of the school principal, and that involves programming that is offered, as well as the DESE guidance on early literacy. So a big piece of what they were looking at were early literacy practices, including the assessments that we use, the standards that we look at, and how we do for data collection and reviews, and how we support students ahead of the special education process as well. So all that being said, it's a long process. It's a lot of kind of back and forth, a lot of information that is there. The department found that the district was found to be in complete compliance with all criteria. No corrective action was found in any area whatsoever, which was very exciting for us. The English learner education monitoring also is a little bit different. So as I said, the special education and civil rights process has changed significantly. This is going into my 8th year, and this is the 4th iteration of what they do for that process. The ELE one is a little bit more consistent, and so it is every 6 years. English learner education is what they refer to, so you'll hear many people saying that is multilingual education. That is something that the state is starting to move over to calling it the multilingual education, but at this time, the monitoring is still called English language education, so that's why I'll refer to it as we go along. It is every 6 years. Purpose is targeting and focusing, monitoring, review. Again, they have 2 main phases of it. The self-assessment is a massive upload of information of pretty much anything and everything you could ever imagine that is involved in ELE education. Gigi Lozano, who is our our ELE coordinator was amazing in helping to kind of create and get all of this information, and make sure that we had everything that could reflect all of the great work that they are doing. But it is a huge piece of it. Then they do the verification piece where we upload chosen records that they have, and we have to provide all of the information. And then they review additional documents. They do a survey of parents and ELs, and then they also did an EL parent feedback session. So parents were allowed to come. We provided translation to make sure that parents were able to access the feedback session. And then they had interviews of staff. So we had myself, as well as Gigi, as well as 3 school principals and 7 school educators that all were interviewed by the state as well. They did not do classroom observations. That's based off of the percentage of students that you have. We have a low incident population, so we did not have observations that occurred. And then, as I said, there was the parent focus group as well. These are all the different areas that they're looking at when they kind of come in and assess it. And again, they found that all criteria were implemented. Everything was found to be fully implemented, and there was no corrective action and no report. So with this, they actually don't even they don't issue a full report unless you have something that was either partially implemented, not implemented, or implementation in progress. So because we were found to be fully in compliance and fully implemented, we have no full report for it. Then we got the benefit of having another review. So we also have the Title 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A federal grants that are authorized by every Student Succeeds Act. This is also done every 6 years, so it just, they try to kind of have, if you're getting the state to come in, they might as well come in for everything all at once, and you can just keep providing evidence all year long. So that's what we did. So for this one, at the beginning of the school year, you find out what's kind of going to be happening. They had a lot of updated procedures for this as well, a whole new system that they were trying to roll out in terms of how they were going to collect information. So it's kind of a learning environment for both us and the department. So by mid-year, they let us know exactly what we have to provide, and then they kind of provide a back and forth to discuss what was uploaded and the information that they were collecting. This is all of the areas that they look through in order to make sure that you're in compliance in all areas of the grant, both in writing them, implementation, and then follow-up afterwards, making sure that there's professional growth and improvement within the grant and within what you're doing for the staff as well. Again, very fortunate, but the department found no follow-up action and that the evaluation is complete, and we are in full compliance for everything for the grants as well. Indicators 11, 12, and 13 are part of that integrated monitoring, but a separate thing that begins in the summer of 2024. So they are collecting data on initial evaluations for students and making sure that we are following all timelines. They are looking at the percentage of children referred from early intervention who were found eligible, and then were they able to start by their 3rd birthday. And then they are looking at students that are age 14 and above and what we are doing to support their transition into whichever environment they may be moving. And they found that they commend the commitment and responsiveness and appreciate continued diligence, and there's no further action for all of indicator 11, 12, and 13 as well. And those are all of the DESE audits and findings. As I said, it was really an incredible team of people that worked with us last year and that helped support this. And we're thrilled with the results, but happy to answer any questions or give more information. As I said, I didn't want to drone on too long about all the standards, but there are a lot.
Mary, I would add too that we had the exit interview for the biggest one, and the representative from DESE was super positive. Just really impressed with the way we handle things and the way things are running in the district. They were really very complimentary of the work you do and the staff. So I just want to put that out there that you did a great job with this, and I know that it was not just you alone, a lot of help there, but it was really a wonderful job by everybody.
Thank you.
I know you always do a great job, Mary, but I'm glad this went through.
Thank you.
I've been
I am
part,
as
I've
well.
been part, not the special ed, but I've been, I've sat through these and they're insane how much you have to present and everything, so thank you for doing it.
No, I'm, as I said, we're fortunate to have a great team and thrilled that it came out as well as it did, and excited on the work that we can do moving forward. As I said, we're always, and I think that was part of the conversation with the department as well. It's like, what are our goals moving forward? And boy, do we have a lot of goals to kind of continue and build on the trajectory that we have, and reflecting on what is going well and what do we need to improve, and how are we making sure that students have the supports and access to what they need.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
All right. Next up, we have Medfield After School Program. Dr. Marsden, I'll turn it over to you.
Sure. I know members of MAP are here tonight, and they had reached out to us about putting a office and storage unit on the Dale Street property. I know they were looking at other places as well, but they had, Rob Quinn has been working with them. They staked it out on our property over at Dale Street. And Annette, are you gonna talk at all, or? Yeah, I mean, maybe that'd be good to kind of give us an overview of why you need it and that kind of thing. But I know that is something that, you know, in support of MAP and the fact that they lost their space at the FAF Center. And as I always say, they're our kids, they're just different time of day, right? So it's our kids after school, and the same thing with the summer camps, it's our kids during the summer. So I know we want to try to support them as much as we can, and I know Annette wants to just talk a little bit about why they need it and, you know, where it would be placed on our property.
Thank you so much for your time and having me here tonight. Right, losing the FAF Center was a big hit, but we were able to pivot and transition, thanks to the school, to move 100% of the 4th through 6th grade program operating out of shared space within Dale Street. But we all know Dale Street is tight on space, so we have, the majority of our stuff is still inside the FAF Center. And we take out like what we have to have and what we need, and we eke out little spaces that we talked to Steve Granum about to put things. But we really feel like we're lacking our ability to have access to our stuff. If we need to go get anything out of the FAF Center, it's a call to multiple people. The fire station, we have to get escorted to go in, and I mean, nobody really wants to go in because it's in tough shape. But anyway, so we also find that we're lacking office space, like just to have a place to keep all the stuff, all the files, the medications, just all those things. If you have an office, you know how it's so convenient, but if your office is your backpack, a rolling cart, and it makes it pretty challenging. So we were trying to think about what would work best. So we came to the conclusion, like an office storage trailer, hopefully on site near where we have the kids. And so that's kind of what our ask is tonight, just to have a place that we can have something, to have all of our stuff in, to have it accessible, a place for our director to operate out of, for the teachers to come in and out of, and to have their things there too. It would just make, you know, utilizing shared space to run our programming so much easier, just to have something dedicated.
So whereabouts is it going?
So, we talked to Jeff about it, and we've talked to the building inspector. It has to be like 30 feet off the road. It needs electricity. So we looked at potentially putting it on the Adams Street side of the Dale School. So the, one of the modulars is here, and the fence, and it's kind of like 30 feet off the road right there.
So near the FAF parking lot?
Nope, on the
Yeah.
other
On the
side.
other side.
Adams Street.
Okay,
Outside.
I'm horrible.
Where the shed
You're
was.
showing Adams
No,
Street.
where the old shed was?
Yeah.
The old
Looking
shed
at
has been
Dale
taken
Street.
down.
Where you go in
Left-hand
to go to the
Right,
office.
so the main office door,
The left of that, okay, where the kid, so
it wouldn't be on any of the
it wouldn't be on the
field.
recess fields?
No, oh, no.
Okay, and it's not a permanent structure, so should you,
It could,
like,
so.
we could say a year or 2 years, but then if it needed to come down due to
Yeah.
whatever happens
There was a
with-
shed there for years, so we took
Yeah.
the shed down a few years ago, and so it's in that same general area as the shed used to be.
And it's an office, so the truck will put it in and put it down, and the building inspector required certain tie downs for that. but then it could just come and get scooped up again and moved someplace else.
And MAP is covering all those
Yes.
costs.
Yep, yep, we're purchasing it and covering all the costs.
So it's just the ask to put it on
Right.
the school property.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when we looked at it, Michael and I and Rob Quinn, we thought that the FAF parking lot would be the best spot for it
Yeah.
because it's hard top already and they could place it right down on there. But I think the issue is around Park and Rec having care, control, and custody of that space. And they don't have a space now, so then, you know, we need to kind of go through them and see how that all works. So, I don't know, I mean, I think this, you know, time's ticking, right? So we gotta
I
do
mean-
something for them, but we don't know
I mean, we've been
where.
doing it, but it would make life easier if we
I
could
mean-
have a place to be.
I mean, to Jeff's point, there are kids, you know, they're all our kids, and, you know, as a proud MAP family, you know, I think it's better to keep her closer, and under the circumstances of the condition of, that building, other building was kept and everything else, I think, you know, it's time to have stuff within our control almost in a way, not to sound that way, but, and I think that, I don't know, that's what I feel about it.
I agree. I think it's similar to when we considered trying to figure out space for Kidsborough and making that work. I feel like this is a similar ask, right, to solve a problem, whether it's short-term or long-term, as we're figuring out what we're doing with Parks and Rec as a town long-term, and even with the
District,
school.
yeah.
Exactly. So I think it does solve a need, and I do think MAP helps a lot of families in the community who rely on it for after-school care.
My question is it big enough to take care of all the stuff, or a good chunk of it?
Yeah, what size are you looking at? That was one of my.
It is 40 feet, so 8 by 40 feet. So we would, we decided that we would splurge and get one that's completely insulated, so that way we can decide how much space to use for office and how much for storage. You know, like, I mean, all you know who have kids at MAP, we're pack rats, we hold on to everything. So we will have to do some purging, but we'll make it work.
If you remember a few years ago when we had the roof fail in the back of Dale Street and a lot of water got into that whole area, we had to put a classroom container out on the parking lot area. It's similar to that, only a little bit bigger, I think. I think it's a little.
Yeah, it would be bigger, and it would be flat on the ground, so there's no issues with stairs or anything
Okay.
like that, or animals or kids going underneath it. I can't guarantee that they won't go on top of it, because they go on top of our modulars all the time, but we try our best with that.
I hope it's actually nicer than that, to be honest, because let's be
Nicer.
honest.
Well,
let's
I
be honest,
mean,
this is probably not a short-term solution.
it's going to be new,
New and insulated.
Yeah.
new and insulated. I
Well, we
mean,
could just get the people coats instead of insulating the actual. Sorry, Kurt.
Kurt's like, excuse me, I have to sit in there, like, I'll just, you know, the space heater.
I said it for his benefit.
So I guess the ask is if we have to vote on it to approve it.
So I think the only other question that I have, I guess, and this might be a little bit for the committee, like understanding where we are with Dale Street and the MSBA project. I'm hesitant personally to put stuff on the property when we know construction is hopefully close, right? Like, and I recognize, so I guess like I'm struggling a little like why we're not putting it on FAF, and I recognize that we're not the group that makes that decision. But it seems to me that that parcel of land is also close to Dale and doesn't have a lot going on right now, and as of right now, would not be involved in the construction. Whereas all of the Dale Street property right now is up for grabs with construction. So I guess I mean, we're talking about coming and putting it down, and it's like easy to move, like, I think I'd want some understanding around like how that would work when or if it did need to go, and what kind of contingency plan you would have in place of where it should go, right? Because if we say yes right now, and then we start moving forward and we need you to move it, where do you go?
I was gonna say, like, there's not a lease agreement, like, could we tell you have to move it tomorrow if we say, like, it's kinda to your point, but
Yeah.
what are we
Well, I think
approving?
tomorrow might be like one day, but I imagine we
I
could
know,
give
but
notice,
what
like,
do you
Some
even
point
say
we'll-
yes for to like, can we tell you to move it whenever we want?
I mean, with reasonable notice, I'm sure.
No,
Right, and like-
I'm just trying to figure out what we're approving,
Right.
like, to your
Right.
point.
We're
like,
approving the placement of
just
this,
to drop it there now, but
Drop
we didn't
it.
tell you to move it.
or maybe
whenever.
this school
just
year
power,
or
right? No-
one.
no plumbing, just power?
Just power.
Yeah, so that, frankly, that is an extremely relatively easy thing to move, just from experience.
We have agreements with MAP for, building use and that kind of thing. We do something similar, I think,
We
something
do that
simple.
annually? Just 'cause
something
this one's got, like, a
similar to-
timeframe I didn't
Right.
understand.
So we
But
do
the-
it for the school year and then revote if it's, because who knows what's happening with the school, right?
Well,
I
the
don't-
your minimum of 24 months before we can get into a breaking ground on a school
So we're
project,
still
it's
so
two
we could
years
even do
left,
2
so.
school years, or even if we vote every year.
Of an 18-month feasibility process, when you start the feasibility process, we're not even gotten to the OPM process yet, so.
Mhm.
So we've
Or the
got-
enrollment meeting.
Yeah, well, the enrollment meeting, so
It was even
we
before that.
have time. So-
I guess my other just question, genuinely, so I think this makes sense, I get it, and that's important. Like for our kids and our families, I guess my just question is like about precedent setting of like where we draw the line in terms of if there's other situations where other, groups that also work with our kids are asking about space. And so I just like, that was like, as soon as I like saw this in the agenda, I was like, that was like the first thought in my head, or like,
So
where do we draw the line?
we've
You know what I
addressed
mean?
that in the past with Kidsborough, and we're responding to
Right.
other needs with the time change as of right now with our own programs. So, they all actually offset pain that we would otherwise incur for other purposes, as well.
And I think it seems like it's much, right, I do think about the precedent, but this is very much related to childcare versus other, uses, similar to Kidsborough, similar to MAP,
Right.
similar to what we're doing to start that after-school program. This is providing our families a way to work around their work schedules. And, right, so I do worry about the precedent, but I do think MAP and Kidsborough fall into the same similar situation where it's like a program for parents and we're helping extend the school day in some ways.
I think we would have to draw the line if everybody wanted to put trailers on the lot, for particular uses, like.
I mean, I think that's what she's saying though, right?
Yeah, like
what
if-
kind of-
if
what,
different-
what does that look like?
But I think the committee has that flexibility with the way the
Right, we
policy is
can-
written.
yep.
You can decide what you want.
I mean, and right
completely.
now, both
Yeah.
Memorial and Wheelock have buildings on site that MAP has operated out of for years. So there already is in my opinion, a precedent that MAP has always
For
had.
MAP.
For MAP specifically have,
Correct.
and I feel like those buildings are more permanent or like, right.
One of them is at least 20.
Yes, exactly, but I also, yes, they've just been there as part of the, and Dale was the only one who didn't have one because the FAF Center was there and with the FAF no longer being
But on
there.
that
But I
same
think
note,
that
we're
the-
not expecting to do major construction at Wheelock or Memorial in the next couple of years.
I-
We are planning on doing
Yes,
that at Dale.
but I feel that if this is something where we vote for it for this school year, and then every year we reassess, once we know what the terms of Dale are, then you
Well-
would have to find, like, obviously, if we're tearing down, you couldn't leave it there.
So I think that I guess the question I would ask is this structure is that of a movable kind, whereas the other, just so that you're all clear, that my understanding is the thing that you're putting on site is not that of a portable classroom like at
Right.
Memorial or Wheelock. It is more of a container type, very movable with a forklift
Yes, so it's
scenario,
different,
right?
exactly.
Although
than-
one did get moved across town. The one that's at Wheelock was cut in half and moved across town.
Yeah, those
So essentially.
are
it-
movable, yes, but not as easy.
But this
Yeah.
is like, essentially like a sea container, right?
Yep.
With
Yeah.
windows and insulation and to accommodate an immediate need for just some office and storage. And I understand that you're concerned about the school project, and if it is at least a year or two out, that's at least a year or two that we would have something to be in and operate out of.
I'm gonna say, I'm good to vote, and I just think it's weird to vote on something without like a time frame for your benefit, almost more for you guys than us.
So why don't we look at it as an annual
Yeah, if we do
option?
that, or, yeah, whatever, yeah.
Like, is that, so I guess, like, I should also start by saying, like, you do have a lot of MAP families up here. We recognize, like,
Yeah, yeah.
all three of my kids have wonderful MAP experiences. We recognize that you guys do supply, like, or provide such a wonderful support to so many of our students, and they are our kids, and we do want to be supporting you guys, and we recognize that the bind you're in is nothing to do with your own doing, and you are in this space to, like, try to continue to offer the wonderful programming that you've been doing. we just want to make sure that we're in a space as well, that we're being mindful of some of the other things that are going to be happening on that property. So,
I think also for like, to make, for you to know, like, okay, how much will it be to move this? Like, right, like, obviously, we don't know the numbers, because we're not, like, purchasing it, but, I mean, I think that's
something to think about,
something
yeah,
to think
yeah.
about, right? Like, if we're gonna put it here, and I have to spend this much to move it, like, for you guys to figure out, does this make
Right.
sense?
Right.
Right,
Knowing if this is like an every year sort of check,
right,
can we do this? Where does everything stay with Dale?
yeah.
I mean, a year is kind of, right, to think about the investment that we're gonna make, a year does seem a little bit, but if that's, but, I mean, you can approve it or not approve it, and then I'll take it back to my board and see what they say too.
Right, I mean,
So then I guess my other question would be like, and again, I feel like you only know these answers. I don't know where or what the no's look like from the other parcels in town, right? So again, if there's nothing going on in FAF, why would it make more sense to, you know, approach the Parks and Rec Commission and see if that's an option there, right? Like, if nobody's using that parking lot, if nobody's using that lawn, because right now, that's not a part of our equation for the project, right? So like, that might be something to consider if the year seems too short for your board,
Yeah.
right?
I
Because
feel,
the-
Michelle, right
The
now
only
it's
thing with
not.
Park and Rec is that it.
Correct, but it's not right now, right? Like, right now, it's not.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not. So that
I-
is,
if I'm not on the committee for the building, I have no idea whether the town will even approve to build a new school, so I'm not holding my breath or holding out hope. I might be retired and not live here anymore by the time that's. But, if you're saying it's like 18 months, we're looking at 2 school years before we even have this conversation. So like, I feel like if we even said like 24 months or, 2 years knowing, and then we talk about it again based on where the building.
I'm looking at the expenses that, for this particular individual process, and looking at where we are in our decision-making process and where we are in the building process. I think the spot would feasibly seem comfortable for 2 years at a minimum.
That's how I feel.
As well as in that process, and in the previous process, we did include MAP in the equation of the building
We
process.
sure did.
So I would say that was a major part of what we were decision-making.
Right.
In fact, we built in a space in the design
We did.
to house MAP, because of the importance that it plays in all of our families in the town. And I think we would be misguided to not consider that as part of this process as well, so.
and that's not what I'm saying, though. Like, I recognize, I was very involved in the last process. I know that MAP was very involved with the previous building project and how important and vital they are to our families and our school. I do want to make sure that we're being mindful, though, of like the space that we have to work with. And right now, FAF is not part of that space, and
Right.
there's not a plan right now for FAF, and it is just a parcel of land that's sitting right next to the parcel that we're talking about. That seems like might be a better option.
Well, I guess the question I have is where the power would come from that, and does it meet the 30-foot requirement from the road in the space that they're referring to? So, because I'm guessing the power is gonna come from Dale Street or off a pole?
Off the street, yeah.
Off the street, so it could come
So
from
the
Main
challenging
Street.
part with Park and Rec is right, we have to be so many feet away from the neighbors. We put a storage trailer there, and it was within, 12 feet. It had to be, I think, 12 feet away from their fence. So that brought us right to the edge of the parking lot. And then we also don't know what they're going to do with the FAF, so what if they decide they're gonna do construction there? We can't be too close to them either. So that's why we didn't look at that space as an option.
What is the time frame for delivery?
I think it's about 6 weeks.
5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
My question is still like, if we vote to do this, can we kick you off whenever we want?
I think we do it as an annual vote.
Yeah.
I think that's our best bet. We do it as an annual contract. If we're feeling that we want to support this and go forward, I think that's our best bet. And then you have a year to look at what other options could be if we come to a place where it doesn't feel like it's gonna work because of, we don't know if MSBA is gonna be okay with us doing something like this to the land right now, right? Like, I just feel like there's a lot of things that we don't have maybe the right information on right now to say yes or no. And I would personally like the little asterisk clause of like, we can revisit this in a year type thing. That's my opinion.
I'm
I'm
okay
only
with-
one-fifth of
I guess
us.
I'm okay with the revisiting.
But I think
I think the terminology of kicking people off is too strong.
I
Other
agree,
than that,
because
but
I
I-
feel
sorry.
like you'd be
Disrespectful
worried
as well.
as a, like, MAP has
So-
to decide whether they wanna pay this, so if you're gonna
Right.
say, I'm gonna
Yeah.
kick you off at a,
Yeah, they're
With
probably
no-
not, I wouldn't, if
with
I
no
heard a committee
reason.
member saying that, if I were their board, I wouldn't.
I would be
No,
wouldn't-
no, I'm
worried.
not saying it like that. It's almost more like, sorry, I feel like, Annette, you're not asking for, like, there's no time frame on this.
No,
It's
there's
can-
not.
Can we drop
Yeah.
it there?
well, that's
Sure,
why
we'll
we
drop
say,
it
but
there.
that's why we
Right.
say
I'm
for a
just trying to
year.
cover for, like,
Yeah,
we're
it's
good
just
if I
saying
can.
it to protect them a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah, yeah.
But that's
So
why
I'm
I
not- I
think
don't mean to be
Yeah.
disrespectful, and my kids went to math, I'm trying to cover your, like.
Well,
it's
that's
just
why I
something
think if we
doesn't
say a
make sense
year
to me.
or 2 years, I
Yeah.
think then we're time boxing it, to your point,
I
Will, but
think-
we
Was that
can't
a-
decide in
I think
January.
the policy asks you to vote whether or not you want it or not, right? That's what the it's your approval to actually have construction done on the school district property. That changes it. That's the
Sure.
policy, right?
Yeah.
I think when we get into the agreement and do the contract, that's when we get into those details of things like, 1 year annual voting, mutual agreement to, 6 months notice, whatever that is. I mean, that's what we do now. We have an agreement with MAP now. So I think we would get into those details as part of that.
Gotcha.
But the vote tonight, if you take a vote tonight, you don't have to, whatever you do, in the policies written around whether or not you allow someone to do any type of construction or change the property. That's what the policy's about, so. And I could easily, we could do whatever you folks decide, we could bring back what the draft agreement would look like at the next meeting and you guys can take a look at it, like, whatever you want, but that's not the policy. The policy is whether or not they can do it. The contract or the agreement is the weeds that we're talking about right now, which we could bring back.
Okay, so the vote, if we voted tonight, it would be on allowing to move forward with a contract, basically, that we're okay putting this on.
Putting it on the property, yeah.
Then I'm comfortable if we wanted to vote on it tonight.
Yeah, I'm okay to vote on it again,
I don't wanna drag this out, though, because I think if we
Yeah.
take till January, it doesn't help MAP. So I feel like if we say vote tonight, and we have to look at the contract, but we don't look at the contract for the other map.
No,
So
so
I'm not sure,
I
like,
guess what I'm-
why we'd have to.
So you wouldn't have to look at it, I guess what I'm saying is, if you vote in the affirmative and you say it's good to go, then they can call tomorrow and get it ordered, right? And they can get that going. And then we can talk about, what the contract looks like, if you want to. And we've done it, like you said, I signed the draft, I
Well,
signed the
that's what I'm
contract
saying.
with them
Like,
now.
I guess I just wanna make sure if we say yes, that it like makes sense for you, and we're not like talking about this 4 meetings from now.
Right, but they can, if you vote for it, they can move forward, and then we can do all the weeds, and you guys could, talk to,
Okay.
I can share with you, whatever. and-
Because it sounds like if it is something that is an annual contract, it sounds like you can also decide if you wanna do that, or if you wanna figure out if you if the mechanism to ask Parks and Rec and what that looks like. If, I know that we don't know what's happening with Parks and Rec either, but we do know that something's happening with Dale.
Yeah.
Right, it's not a good time, right?
Yeah.
Right? Everything's up in flux, right?
But so then it sounds like
Yeah.
you can also not accept the contract, right? I mean.
Absolutely.
He can sort of say yes, but
Absolutely.
if you're like, I'm gonna look into
Yes.
this, but let me also look into this, and then I.
Right, you guys could vote on that tonight, and they could go a different way, that's
Yeah.
up to them, yeah.
One question I had and one statement. The question is parking still allowed at the FAP Center in the parking lot?
I think so.
I parked there
I
for
mean-
the kids' graduation last
Yeah,
year,
you can,
but
yeah.
I don't know if there's like leaves.
I
Park and
park
Rec
there,
vehicles
I
there right now.
park there when I have to drop off things or do things at
Yeah.
Dale.
Okay. I was just
I
curious.
mean, they have orange protective stuff around
Around the building,
a
but
little
yeah, you
bit
can
of
use the
the
parking
area.
lot.
Yeah, there was one question about the parking lot, because, like, to the point of it is out of the way at FAF.
Yes.
And then one statement I would say, I think it'd be helpful to Dale for them to have some of their stuff out of Dale. From that
Well, yes, it
perspective.
also gives Dale back their space where
Some
MAP
of
stuff
it,
is, so.
I mean, really, we don't have that much
I
stuff.
know.
We have
I
a
know.
couple buckets backstage, a little
There's some
shelf.
buckets under.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, yeah, I mean,
Still.
it's really limited.
But still.
Yeah,
okay.
yes.
So I guess my last ask on this, and whatever you folks decide, is that I would ask MAP to just do some outreach to those homes that are right on the other side of that field. I know that when we put a container, probably 10 years ago at the high school, that was behind the snack shack and was on the edge of Phillips Street. Residents weren't happy about that, and they were very upset about that, and it took a lot of time, effort, meetings, drama. So I guess I would just ask MAP to reach out to just make sure that,
On Adam Street there?
yeah, because it was a lot, 10 years ago was a lot. Select board was involved, school committee was involved, it was just a lot for one container. So I would just ask,
As much as
respectfully
I-
ask to do that,
And I
please.
respect my colleagues' concerns, and I totally agree, I guess, but I do want to support MAP in this endeavor as well as because I think I've shared my frustration with some of the decision-making process of this town and the fact that the FAF center's in the condition that, got to the condition that it's in without being addressed. So, and with that, you know, the school stepped in, keeping Dale alive and continuing to support this program as a result. So, and I think that's kind of where my feeling of, you know, we advised them to go to to the FAF, and then they up and decided to do something, finally decided to do something at that moment in time, and then poor Annette and Kurt and everyone's back here in 8 months to they have to go move it again, and I guess that's my concern more than anything. So, and then, again, it still impacts us because it's our families, because of what that, the program is for our families. So I guess that's not that I want to be trying to be confrontational.
No, I'm supportive as well of taking a vote and giving MAP access.
I would like the year, personally, like, I recognize what you're saying, I would like that wording in the vote if we do that today. And I guess on that same front, like, if you haven't talked to the Parks and Rec Commission, like, actually talk to them, like, I think that would be a conversation that might be worth having. I'm not gonna say they say yes or no, but like, again, I don't know who you've talked to specifically or what the conversations have been, but, I mean, I think if we look at the facts we have in front of us, like, the warrant committee came and spent a lot of time with us, there's not a secret money tree, right? Like, nothing in that area is getting fixed anytime soon, so it feels like Dale Street is more likely to have construction versus the FAF area in the time frame that we're talking.
So I guess I would say I'm fine with revisiting it, but I guess I would leave that to the contract language as opposed to the vote.
Yeah, based on what you said, Jeff.
Because the contract language, as it's written, could be there's a certain amount of time notice, and it could be 6 months. Because that could just be in the language. I don't know what the language reads today.
So we do multi-year contracts with MAP now. You could direct me to do a one-year contract. I mean, we could do that. So that's, then every year it's revisited.
It's just the container, though, like, I mean, you know what I mean, your multi-year project or contracts about them using the space in the school.
Correct.
My concern is only around the container.
This could be
Yeah.
this could be a one-year, just a one-year contract. It'd be from, September to June of '26. That's how it could run, that's how it could be, and then, that satisfies the 1 year, then we revisit it again and see whether it works. But I do think it could be a couple of years before we break ground, for sure, so, but I think the 1 year is fair, just to make sure everything's working the way it needs to work, and,
That construction process, I know when a shovel's not hitting dirt for, unfortunately. Quick, this would be 20 months, but it's not happening for months.
I don't think there's anything wrong with a 1 year contract, I don't think it's, and if you don't, you have a 1 year contract with an extension, with a 1 year rollover, if the committee does not vote to non-renew it, then automatically rolls over for another year, like you do something like that in it, so that they have in writing 2 year security unless there's a vote that takes place at the committee level.
Which I'm assuming we can let them know in a timely manner.
Right. 'cause I
Absolutely.
want
Oh,
them
of
to
course.
know in a
Of
timely
course, it
manner,
wouldn't be,
But I
we're
like
done,
that
yeah.
option, that
We'll
it
let
Yeah,
you
of
know by
rolls
course.
June
over.
28th, and that's.
Thank you, perfect.
I mean, we're all on the same team here, we just gotta figure out, because there's a lot of stuff on that
I
land.
understand the reservation, and that's, if that works, it works. I think, but at the same time, I understand giving them the flexibility just allows them, empowers them to provide better service to our students. So.
It's just
And
a,
for over moving a trailer with the, it's not a huge expense.
Well, it's not a huge expense for them. Like, but I'm saying like you should check with them first.
Sure.
They get to decide if they wanna move
Yeah.
forward with it, right? Like, you get to find out that information and then see what they can decide.
Do you wanna make a motion?
Motion to approve, as amended with the one-year agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good luck.
All right, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys. All right, any other items? Sorry, I'm not checking my phone. I've lost internet, so all my notes are now on here because I can't access anything here. So apologies for that. Any other items since posting?
I don't have any, Madam Chair.
Okay. Oh, ironic. Next up, old business, we're moving to mobile phones, social media task force update.
So I did put in the materials in the narrative that members of the task force did try to enlist parents again. They did something in the Hometown Weekly, try to get more people to participate in the Wait Till 8, which is great. We're probably going to get a meeting together at the end of September to get everyone back together again. And over the summer, the House did, the Senate voted to ban cell phones bell to bell. And now the House has kind of taken that up now. So we'll see how that goes. I've heard that if the House does approve it, that the governor will sign it right away and it will go into effect. There's some caveats there where, policies need to take place before 26, 27, those kinds of things. So it's not like, we're in good shape because we're already doing it anyway at the middle school and high school level, so we'll be in really great shape there. But I think places that have not dealt with this issue, it's gonna be a lot for them to try to get done this year into next year. So we'll wait and see what happens. I think the House is gonna change a lot of the language on it. We're fortunate on the executive committee at MASS that when the first one came out, we were able to kind of give them feedback, and they did change some of the language that we suggested. And Senator Roush reached out to me too, and she and I had a conversation about, what it would look like. What are the things that I would add to it, what would I take out of it? For some reason, the earbuds never made it into the final one. I'm like, you gotta put that one in there. And she said that several other superintendents suggested that as well. So I think they're listening. They know it's a big issue, and they know it's important to all of us, and, student mental health is the most important thing. So waiting to see what the House does and see where it goes. But I think we'll get the group together in September, and we'll keep working forward.
Very cool. Nobody knows when they're planning on voting on that, do they?
No.
No.
So they're on recess the whole
Recess
month of
right now,
August, just
okay.
about. So they start up again in September.
Okay. Still exciting stuff. And thank you for everybody who's worked on that to get us to this point, because I agree with you. I think that we're like kind of luckily ahead of the space, right, in that front of what happened, so, it'll be good. Okay, any other comments on that? Okay, SBC update, we met last week,
Communication.
Yep.
And, we're still pushing on, getting ourselves to the next phase, so phase 1 and phase 2. Dr. Marston is helping us to keep steady pressure on the MSBA. It's a tactic that I've learned that you don't push too hard, but you lightly keep rattling your rattles up and know you're there, and that you're ready to go when you're ready to go, so that when they have an opening that pops up, that will put you in, meaning that to slide us into the next phase. One of that is an enrollment meeting, to confirm what our enrollment would be for this project in particular. So they probably have all the data they need to help make that decision.
I suspect we'll hear that fairly soon. I mean, they've been working on that this summer. I would think early fall, I would think the month of September, we'd probably hear something about the enrollment meeting.
And then there's a lot of discussion about Medfield Day. And so you'll see us in some very easily identifiable shirts, from what I understand. So I'm hoping for some wicking kind, so that we can at least make it a running shirt. But it doesn't.
It'll be 100 degrees on Medfield Day. It's always so hot.
And that'll be even better if it's a wicking shirt.
seriously.
But my understanding it was a loud color. And then there was something else. Oh, a lot of more conversational marketing.
Yeah, so continuing with the neighborhood captains and just trying to continue to get people aware and involved with the project.
Exploring new channels. We might be dropping a gram or two on our Insta, so you know, tuned, so.
Anything to add to that?
No, that was a productive meeting. I know we were kind of at a standstill a little bit on some things, but I think just moving forward and talking about what we need as far as the marketing and getting the word out and communication is just great, so keeping it in the forefront, and hopefully we'll get some news soon and start doing some more work.
Okay.
We finished that. We submitted everything a month and a half early, so we're hoping we're gonna get
Yeah,
bumped up a little bit,
a
so.
little bit. Okay, so community engagement and communication. Dr. Marsden, will actually have to start and talk a little about Parent Talk. I saw the email came out, but that's gonna be a big communication piece, right?
It is, yeah, so we
Parents
sent that out
Square.
today, and hopefully you got a second email that came up as well, that, from Parent Square, that said where, you know, where, how to log in and all that jazz, so hopefully that happened. We're supposed to go right after mine went out. I haven't looked at the emails yet, so I think that, you know, that's the next phase, is really, we talked to the teachers about it today, and I think the teachers, some have had training today, some are having training tomorrow. They got all their login information in the spring, so they've been playing around with it a little bit, but now it's real, because we're looking at October 1 being the full transition date and goal to get over to fully using Parent Square for all of our communications. So one of the things that came up is, one of the questions I heard today was, what if you want to send something out through Parent Square, but the parent hasn't signed up yet, it doesn't have the app? Well, it defaults into their email account, so they'll get it, but the email will say, you know, a note from Mrs. Jones via Parent Square. So they'll still get it, but it won't be as easy to access as Parent Square, because it wouldn't be right on your app, it wouldn't get a notification on it. So, you know, working through that, I think we're eventually gonna get to, we're targeting the spring sports season that all the coaches use Parent Square as well. So right now they use Huddle as their communication, so we're gonna try to phase that out in the fall, winter sports, and then by spring, when everyone's kind of used to using Parent Square, make that the communication mode for coaches and kids as well. So that's kind of what we're going to. There's a lot of options that you can use with Parent Square that we're not gonna roll out in the beginning, like there's a whole thing of signing up for field trips, all the forms, like everything gets done electronically. We're just not there yet, but we'll get there hopefully by the spring, and just kind of phase
And
it.
all those modules are included in like whatever price we're paying, so
Yeah,
it's not like a
included in
pay by
everything.
module.
Yeah, like, one of the neat things that we did is that, so you can use a text version, so you can get everything through text. So if I want to send out a text to all families, I can do that, and it doesn't have my cell phone number on it, or my work cell phone number on it. It has a different number that is Medfield Public Schools, and it has a number that they've assigned me, so. Just things like that, that ensure privacy but gets the word out. So we got that for the teachers, really, because if they're gonna use their own phones, if they choose to, and they wanna communicate to parents, they should have that privacy of not having their own cell phone number as part of it. It should just be through the Parent Square app, so. Yeah, we're excited about it. I think it's gonna be a great addition, and that one platform where you can get all the information for your kids. If you have multiple students in multiple schools, it's all right in one spot, so we're happy about that.
Yeah.
And that was definitely one of the big initiatives we
Yeah.
wanted as far as our strategic plan. We heard that loud and clear during those focus groups and surveys and everything, so we're happy to finally roll it out. Now we just gotta work on it the next 4 weeks, so it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have the pin nights coming up. I think those were in our packet. I'm gonna do what I did last year and send you guys an email with a Google form so we can kind of divide and conquer the best way possible in that space. Around that, though, there is one next week on 9/4. It's for 8th grade. I wanted to see if anybody was free just to take that one, so that I'm gonna try to get the Google form together maybe on Wednesday and send it out to you guys, and that will have information for pin night, information for Jeff's superintendent advisories,
Which we finalized those dates today.
yep,
Yeah.
information about the stuff that I mentioned at our workshop, the stuff that I'm looking, if anyone wants to take on, to partner with. And then also probably information mapping out for the schools we're partnering with, the PTOs, right? I'll have the contact information in there so you know who you're reaching out to. Sophia, that's gonna be a fun email for you, right? Emailing yourself.
Do you have a?
I will be there. I think I have all of the, I was started on it today. I think I'll figure it out. I'll text you if I don't have anybody. So is anyone free on 9/4 to possibly do the 8th grade one?
I can do 8th grade.
Okay, great.
7th grade one is called this.
Yeah, so 6th, 7th, and 8th are all separate. So 8th is that one, 6th is at the end of the month, and 7th was the following week, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
It's like on your schedule.
So this will be like last year, so every school's a little bit different, but we've got still our boards from last year, right? So we'll set up the boards and just be there to kind of answer questions. The SBC did also look like they were going to have a table potentially, so I think last year we had a lot of SBC stuff, so this year there should be a partner person there who can like answer more specific questions on the school project, right?
Do you think they'll be at, Blake? Because they weren't at Blake last year. They did the elementary schools.
No, they didn't, they were only with us last year, they weren't on their own. You're talking about the SBC?
Yeah, I'm only saying that because when I did Blake, I was there by myself.
Right, so we only did it last year, and we handed out info on behalf of
Got
them.
it. I thought,
year.
got it. I thought you were saying there was
No.
someone from there. 'Cause
This
I was like,
year.
I was at Blake and I was by myself,
No,
so I
no,
was
they
like.
gave us paper, they gave us
Yes,
handouts.
but
We
I
had
thought you
Yeah,
meant
they
they
hand
had
out.
like, so
No.
they're actually gonna have a.
Correct.
Got it.
A presence, like a person there. I don't know what that looks like yet completely, but, just so we know that.
We're also gonna have Parent Square workshops for parents those nights too, so they can come a little early before it starts, and our staff will help them, walk them through that and answer any questions, and then they'll be there during the time as well, in case they want, on the way out, they want to have a little more information on Parent Square, so. And there's a lot of information out there, but I think it's nice to have our staff that can walk people through if they
Right,
need it,
yeah,
so.
that's nice. So anyway, yeah, so that email will be coming from me shortly. That will help us get organized kind of for the next couple weeks and the year. And then also, it looked like there was a bunch of policy updates, recommendations
There
from
were.
MASC. So we will be looking to probably add somebody to the policy subcommittee. So I'll add that as a question in the Google form as well, if that's something, or if you just, you want to do it, just let me know. But that's something we'll definitely be voting on or adding that person for the next meeting. So just something for everybody to think about. Yeah.
If we sign up to go to one of the schools, is the expectation that we're there like the entire time?
So I usually have times around when we're sending out the thing, so it'll say
Oh, okay.
like, Memorial, you should be there like, whatever, 15 minutes before, like, so I have the times in what you're
Like,
signing up
I
for.
guess I'm asking, do I sign up to go to the other, like, not my own kid's school, if I want to actually meet my kid's teacher? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I did it I think, so sign
I
up,
did it.
For most of the time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
So if
Okay,
you're- 'cause-
it's better for me to go to a different school.
it's honestly whatever you're
I
free.
did Josie last year,
Yeah.
and I stopped standing at the table
Yes.
once everyone went to the parents' classrooms because no one was standing in the
Okay, that's-
auditorium.
yeah, that's
So I
what-
feel like you got the traffic at the
So
beginning.
different schools do them
They do it differently,
Yes.
yeah.
It depends how-
Yes, so that's probably true, but definitely at the middle school, like, you would not want to, like, once you go to see your teacher, so that way if you went for the sixth
And
grade
then if you're
one.
at an elementary school, like, I think I brought which kid did I bring last year, Reese? And we
Reese.
sat there because they divided by alphabet, so we sat there for the alphabet, and then we went and did his, and we left the stuff out. So I would say sign up for what you can, and then I can have like a form box where you can just fill out
Yeah,
anything
'cause
you want to
it's
add.
a sale.
So yeah. Sign up for all you're available for is better than the opposite.
So I will tell everyone right now.
You
I
don't have
will-
to go to all of them. I send out the assignment.
I can only take the high school one. I am not here for those 2 weeks in September.
Yeah.
So right now, like, I'm happy to do the high school one on the 25th. But
Okay.
all the other days, I'm literally, not in town.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I mean, I'm in town most days,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. Anything else on community engagement and communication? All right. Informational items, the Accept Collab FY '25 quarter. four
Right, so that was
update.
the quarter from last year that they got to us kind of late after our last meeting, so that's just in there, just their quarter update and then the pin night information.
Okay. Hillary, welcome back. Did you have a
Hillary?
nice summer?
Yeah, it was fun.
Do you have anything to add or update? How are you feeling about going into your senior year?
I'm excited.
Yeah?
I just got all the summer work done and everything, so. Yeah, we have a couple updates from student council. We're starting to plan pep rally and everything, which will take place in October. And we have freshman orientation on Wednesday, so the freshmen will come in early, and then we'll be there, like, cheering them on and everything. And the student ambassadors, there's like a group of seniors who are student ambassadors who will come, talk to the freshmen, hand out their schedules, if they have any questions about like classes or anything, they can ask them. And then lastly is just senior cruises this Thursday.
Exciting. So on behalf of your senior class, this is my ask for anyone who's listening. Like, I feel like the seniors who graduated in June, their signs have been nice, but they should disappear before the first day of school, because now we have new seniors. And yet, all around town, like, these children have left for college, and now they're adults. And I would like to celebrate your class, the class of 26. Yes, they
Yeah,
still have their
neighborhood signs,
signs
yeah.
up. And I feel like
They're still
without
up.
a child name, I feel like it would be rude if I got down in my neighborhood. But I feel like we're celebrating a new class of, you know, you have what you said on Thursday night.
Which entrance is yours at? Because you've got two, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ours came down. I saw them
Yes,
take it
no,
down
there's
the other
multiple
day.
neighborhoods
It
that
was
still
down.
have
They're
it
still
up.
up in a lot of
The
places.
start of school might be like a,
I'm hoping
Yeah.
it would be like,
Take
hey.
it down. Well, have fun on Thursday.
Yes, have fun.
Does anyone have anything else? All right, future agenda items are listed. We'll add the one that got tabled from tonight,
Yeah, subcommittee.
and the subcommittee, yeah, policy. And then next meeting is on Thursday, September 11th. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.